Hello everyone, today we're gonna have a discussion about the topic history. It's an important subject that all students should learn. So do you think that history is so important that learning history should be mandatory? I hope you will get the answer about this topic during the debate. From now on, we will begin our debate. The name of the pros team is 신현수조 and the name of the cons team is Cristiano Ronaldo. Please shake hands with each other.
자, 부장들이 일어나서 악수해주세요. 오늘 잘
Please everyone take your seats. The first speaker of the first team is Hee Dong-jin. Please introduce the discussion topic and give reasons for approval and grounds for argument on the topic for 3 minutes.
Hello, my name is Dong-jin. History means change of human society and process of the rise and fall. A Spanish philosopher George Santayana once said those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Our team thinks that our students should learn history because we can experience it directly and understand the world around us and people from other countries studying history. As you know, the internet and social media makes interaction with global people easy. But we do not understand various cultures, so our students should learn history and can have an attitude that want to understand others. Furthermore, history teachers said that history was helpful in terms of investment in stock. Thank you.
This time, the first speaker of the cons team refute what the pros team claims for a topic and explain the reasons of grounds for the opposition for 3 minutes, please.
My name is Jung Kwon-hee and I'm against learning the subject of history. For the first reason, history has a lot of content that doesn't really help reality. It's not necessary in reality to memorize the Qin policy of China or the origin of Islam. Would you talk about such history in real life? It's just a bluff that you say to recognize it as having a high standard. The second reason is that even if we learn history, our level doesn't increase. Of course, many people can say that learning history is about gaining a great deal of knowledge that humanity has built up. But the history we learn in school is mechanical way of teaching history that we just memorized and write about. It's not something you understand, so you forget it quickly. What's the benefit of learning a history that you forget quickly? Rather, you lose hours of irreplaceable resources called time. Thank you, bro.
Please, the pros team, discuss the reasons for the counter-argument for 1 minute.
자, 이번에 협의 씨.
The second speaker of the pros team, please refute what opponents have just claimed and give examples of the first and second reasons for 2 minutes.
Chinese historian Martin said, history is a mirror that reflects the present and a compass that points to the future. The reason all students should study history is we can develop critical thinking and insight studying history. When we verify a historical data, we can analyze whether it is true or not. Also, when we study a history description, we can distinguish whether it is dependable or not. Why critical thinking is important? Critical thinking is important for 3 reasons. First, because it makes our thinking clear, through, and well organized. Critical thinking prevents us from overlooking essential information or drawing the wrong conclusion. Second, critical thinking helps us separate relevant from irrelevant information. Today, there is more information than ever before, so ability to evaluate information critically is especially important. Finally, it helps us solve complex problems and become creative thinkers. In history research, this skill gets better. Therefore, studying history allows to look back on the past and the present and to take the right path in the future.
제가 박수 여성을 안 쳐주면 다시 한번 연습합니다.
Then, please discuss the reasons for the opposition's rebuttal to the pro's claims for 1 minute.
자, 협의 씨 나와서 발표하시면 됩니다. 바로 패스할 거야?
네.
오케이. 그럼 시간 주세요.
History is forgotten thing, and knowing it is externally unlikely that one's future will be reversed. Rather than studying and getting to know what happened in the past, I think it is a more effective way to study that will be helpful in the future. In conclusion, I think that there is no need to study history by understanding it basically. Thank you.
Please oppose team discuss the reasons for the counter-argument for 1 minute. The third speaker of the pros team, please refute what the opposing team has just claimed and give a second reason. Please refute the arguments of the opposing team and summarize the presentation of the pros team and completing the presentation for 2 minutes.
History is to be considered as an artificial pursuit of future. History is an unending dialogue between the present and the past. We can learn wisdom of life and lessons through history, because history is an unending dialogue between the present and the past. We can learn wisdom of life and lessons through history, because history is the build-up of human experience. Learning the failures and mistakes of the past puts us one step closer to solve current problems and ready for future. Learning the failures and mistakes of the past puts us one step closer to decide current actions and plan for future. For example, the country remembers, commemorates, and sets aside public holidays for noble and sacrifices for the country. Because we live now on the blood they shed, or say if you understand past events and how they affect the world today, you will appreciate or that you can receive help from past events today. So students will not repeat patterns of mistake and they will be appreciative of past by studying history. Thank you.
Please discuss the reasons for the opposition's rebuttal to the pros claims for 1 minute. The third speaker of the cons team, please refute the substitution that the pros team has just claimed and announcing the second reason for 2 minutes. Please summarize the cons arguments to finalize the cons presentation in 2 minutes.
A reason we don't need to study history is that even if we study history is just history. Studying history is recommended only if necessary. It is important to memorize history. That is, if the contents of history are memorized, there is no choice but to stress. So let's or not study history. So it is better to study the future sooner than to study history.
The fourth speaker of the host team, please repeat what the opposing team has just claimed and give a second reason. Please repeat the arguments of the opposing team and summarize the presentation of the host team and completing the presentation for 2 minutes.
History is the knowledge and study of the past. It is the story of the past and a form of collective memory. History is the story of who we are, where we come from, and can potentially reveal where we are heading. The reason we should learn history is we are historical creatures and history is about us. Our life is too short to tell who we are, but history tells who we are. So we needed collective wisdom and information to inform us about what we are beyond what we see ourselves. History allows us to experience things not seen for ourselves, like reading books. Besides, we get an opportunity to think about what we could be after we hear stories of great figures in history. We think that we can be heroes only after we hear heroic stories. Thus, students like us need story to inform our future direction and possibility.
The fourth speaker of the comms team, please review the substitution that the pros has just claimed and announcing the second reason for 2 minutes. Please summarize the cons arguments to finalize the cons presentation in 2 minutes.
I'm against learning history. I think we need to develop as soon as possible and make the world rich. So I don't think we need to use time for the future while learning about the past. Also, history is extremely lacking in necessity and practicality. For instance, man in BC, Persian kingdoms is not something you can use in real life by learning stories, and even if you learn these stories, most of the students are forced to study for the exams, so you cannot achieve the original purpose of history. For this reason, I am against learning history once again.
Discussion ended. Today we had a discussion about the importance of learning history at school. Shinyan's Joseph's opinion was to learn history at school because when we learn history, first, we can experience and understand the world around us. Second, we can develop critical thinking and insight. Third, we can learn wisdom of life and lesson. Fourth, we are historical creators and history is about us. And Christiana Amado-Jones said that we don't need to learn history at school because first, history has a lot of content that doesn't help reality. Second, knowing history is extremely unlikely that one's future will be reversed. Third, we don't need to use time for the future while learning about past. Fourth, studying history is recommended only if necessary. Now, do you have your own answer of the topic? I think I got some answers for you. Thank you for the presentation of each team, and thank you for listening, everyone. I close the discussion.